King Charles and Prince William are now at war over Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Donald Trump rebuke. Now, to be honest, I'm totally with Prince William on this. I'm sorry, I'm just putting that out there right from the start. What Harry and Meghan did by openly speaking out against Trump was disgusting, was despicable, went against all diplomatic norms, and also is hugely disrespectful for Harry, given he is in America. I would argue at the invitation of Trump, who could boot the asshole out because he lied on his immigration forms, I believe, because I do not believe he would have been allowed in if he admitted to all of the illegal drug use in Spare. But let me take you through this story. Here's Harry's statement. It came after Trump made those comments, which were misinterpreted, about European troops, which he later rolled back. And Harry wrote, in 2001, NATO invoked Article 5 for the first and only time in history. It meant that every allied nation was obliged to stand with the United States in Afghanistan in pursuit of our shared security. Allies answered that call. I served there. I made lifelong friends there, and I lost friends there. The United Kingdom alone had 457 service personnel killed. Thousands of lives were changed forever. Mothers and fathers buried sons and daughters. Children were left without a parent. Families are left carrying the cost. Those sacrifices deserve to be spoken about truthfully and with respect, as we all remain united and loyal to the defence of diplomacy and peace. Well, as the Royal News Network posted, having read that, Prince Harry has no business making any sort of statements on NATO and by extension criticising President Donald Trump. This sort of brazenness again belies the reason why all his titles and place in the line of succession should be removed. Yes, it should. If he can't contain himself and potentially undermines whatever diplomacy is going on behind the scenes, it's a problem that must be dealt with. That's the price of being the son of the king, as he so arrogantly throws around when it suits him. But here's the problem. Charles, well, actually, first what happened is Meghan weighed in. This was her Instagram story where she posted a whole succession of pictures of Prince Harry with the troops. We know exactly what she was getting at. Again, this was her way of taking down Donald Trump without actually having the balls to say it, because she's gutless. But of course, what the royal family should do in these cases is say nothing. Do not get involved. Say nothing. This isn't a battle for you. Keir Starmer was speaking to Trump, and sure enough, immediately after that conversation, Trump, having realized that this had been taken the wrong way and then beaten up and blasted by the mainstream media into space in a very over-the-top manner, he immediately railed back and said, no, of course the British troops are great. But unfortunately, Charles doesn't play that game. Just like we know he voiced his discontent to Boris Johnson about the Rwanda scheme, he was briefing to The Sun on Sunday that Trump had backed down after back-channel concerns were raised by the king. Now, for William, this is another diplomatic misstep. And if you look at a load of reporting from America, I think this shows where there are these new fractures that have developed. Not everyone wants to hear this, but it's just the truth, between Charles and William, not over how they deal with international relations and all of that type of thing, but about how they're going to deal with the Harry issue, which is William wants exile, William wants the title stripped. Charles seems to be giving into this idea that his mother had absolutely abandoned, that Harry and Meghan can live as some type of half in, half out royals. Now, here's some interesting reporting from Paula Frolic in the States, who said that after the statement was made, royal protocol collides with the Democratic Party's PR machine. She reported that this wasn't even written by Harry himself, but rather his new PR firm, or renewed PR firm, I should say, Sunshine Sachs, who have ties with the Democratic Party. Harry sent out an impassioned statement this week, and it was powerful, impactful, and my sources tell me not only deeply inappropriate, but also not physically penned by him. No way that statement was actually written by him, my royal source said. He approved it, but it smells of his PR firm, Sunshine Sachs, Morgan and Lyons. But as my source noted, this was clearly written by his PR people. That firm is knee-deep in the Democratic Party. Sunshine Sachs Morgan & Lyons is well known to have extensive, long-standing ties to the Democratic Party and frequently does work for democratic causes, politicians and organisations. And this is an issue, as once again, Harry is mucking about with politics, something royals do not do for good reason. Tom Sykes also says that Charles is backing Prince Harry's attack on Trump over NATO veterans in The Royalist, saying King Charles's decision to let it be known he backs Harry's position is a significant escalation of the conflict with William over how to deal with Harry. So let me turn to my superstar panel now, Based and Bougie and Steph, the alternate. Steph, I'm sorry, I actually think the Royal News Network is right on this. There is now no other solution than stripping Harry's titles, taking it all away, because he has proved once again that he cannot resist getting involved in the most sensitive diplomatic issues, which is highly ironic, by the way, given that he has chosen to live in Trump's America. If you hated it so much, do an Ellen DeGeneres and get your ass back on a plane. Although, please God, don't do that because we don't want him anywhere near here. But seriously, Steph, what is Charles then doing, sort of giving into this and almost acting as if Harry had done the right thing?
King Charles has now been dragged into fresh controversy after reportedly backing Prince Harry's highly inflammatory political intervention. A move that included a direct attack on Donald Trump and has sent shockwaves through royal circles. What makes this moment explosive isn't just the politics, but the constitutional danger and the timing, as the king is supposed to remain strictly neutral. Tonight we break down why this alleged support is being viewed as reckless, how it hands Harry fresh ammunition at the worst possible moment, and why insiders say this has deepened an already bitter rift with Prince William, who is said to be furious about the damage being done to the monarchy's credibility on the global stage. Is the king quietly choosing sides? Has Harry now crossed a line that cannot be walked back? And could this be the moment that finally forces William to draw a hard boundary between duty and family loyalty? We'll unpack all the details, the fallout, and what this means for the future of the crown. If you want independent royal coverage the mainstream media refuses to give you, smash like, subscribe, and turn on notifications right now. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Has Harry gone too far, and should the king have stepped in? This story is only just beginning.
Where do I begin with all of that? So, this is the thing. There have been ample examples from Harry that his title should have been stripped ages ago. The one that springs to mind is more recently last year, he went over to Ukraine after visiting the UK. And there were reports that came through that he actually met up and visited Zelensky when the British government turned round to him allegedly and said, don't even go there. Don't go near Zelensky at all. And he did it anyway. He does things for the best of him rather than the best of this country and to serve this country. Not only that, but I think there's a bigger kind of situation at play that I don't think a lot of people have clocked here, which is Harry has put his own visa in jeopardy by speaking out against Trump on this, but Meghan has as well now. Because with Meghan turning round and putting up all those pictures on Instagram of Hazza, serving in the military in Afghanistan, this, that, and the other, she's also attacking Trump as well. And bear in mind that even though this whole Hazza visa situation is a little bit on the quiet front at the moment, best be known, it's still going on at the moment. It's still going ahead. And the more that Harry and Meghan attack Trump, the more that they're just putting that final nail in Harry's visa's coffin. And he's going to be kicked out if he's not careful. And if we're not careful, we're going to be getting him back, whether we like it or not, unfortunately. The other thing I would also say is Hazza just needs to shut up when it comes to trying to go onto his high horse here. Because if you are to believe the rumours and the reports, there was an article where the Major General turned round and said that he slept through an attack on Captain Bastion. He slept through it. You've got other people apparently turning round and saying that he was protected. He was wrapped up in cotton wool. There was no way anyone was going to get near him. He just needs to sit down and shut up.
Yeah, I totally agree. He really does, but he cannot help himself, Base and Bougie, because the point is, right, there hadn't even been 24 hours to allow Trump to actually row back on these comments. I refused to join this sort of purity test that was being put out there. It was almost like, if you don't condemn Trump, then you're not a patriot. No. Everyone knows that I support British troops. But Trump was not actually speaking about British troops, as he made abundantly clear in his Truth Social post. But the one person who the world did not need to hear from on this is Prince Harry. And I think it does prove that he is actually now a danger to the British royal family. And I believe that William's strategy in terms of how he should be dealt with is the right one.
I'm starting to think that Meghan is like Harry's handler, just sent to Harry's life to destroy him and just make him make stupid decisions. Because first and foremost, you posting pictures of Harry in the army isn't convincing us nothing. We know very well that Harry was probably the most protected person in that army due to his title at the time. Second of all, how dare you criticize Trump while still continuing to live under Trump's administration? You can easily leave. And this is why I do not like Harry and Meghan, not because I don't like them personally, but I can so clearly see that they are just puppets. They're just puppets used to completely go against anything that has to do with Western culture or anything that has to do with patriotic culture, and they're just here to push this woke ideology. They did it during the BLM. They used the BLM riots as an opportunity for Meghan to start playing a victim. And now the new wave is like criticizing Trump and ICE and his administration. Now they're jumping on that wave, trying to get their followers and audience to go against Trump. I know, and I can see through it, and I can see that they are just puppets being used by the woke mob.
Yeah, totally. And look, the thing is, I would argue the whole Harry and Meghan project is falling apart, Steph. I mean, how on earth can we have Harry going from court last week where he was just a pathetic excuse of a man like, oh, the royal family made my life a misery. They forced me to perform in front of the media. It was just awful. To literally getting on a plane and going to the Sundance Film Festival where his wife made him perform on the red carpet in front of the cameras. Now, by the way, the whole thing was a complete disaster, Steph, as you know, because they couldn't even fill up the movie theatre. That's how unpopular they were. But if you just look at this footage of them on the red carpet, what you will see is that Harry is initially kept to the side of the room by Meghan Markle and is just allowed to watch on. And it's only when she gives him the go-ahead that he is actually allowed to come and join. And what's so embarrassing, Steph, is you'll actually see in a hot minute that he sort of sprints across because he's like a little puppy dog, and Meghan's told him, okay, now you're allowed this moment. I mean, could you believe this footage?
Yes, because we've seen it so many times
There he
before. Really, in the grand scheme of things. I mean, usually I'd give the benefit of the doubt because in showbiz, you know, when you are partnered up with someone, that usually happens, right? You've got the first person out in front taking their pictures solo, and then they'll get their partner in, and then you've got like a dual picture, right? So there is that kind of thing that happens on the red carpet. However, with Hazza and Megzi, yeah, they're a little bit different because we've seen this happen now many, many times before. The other thing as well that I think is more embarrassing than the fact that they couldn't even fill the seats is that the Sundance Festival, this festival primarily is set up so that filmmakers and indies and all that lot can come together, show their product, show their film for studios and whatnot to buy. And so here's the question. Why is a documentary executive produced by Hazza and Megzi, all of a sudden being shown at Sundance for buyers. Isn't Harry and Meghan on a contract with Netflix so that they've got first refusal?
Exactly.
That means only one thing to me. Netflix have seen it and have refused outright to have it on their platform.
Oh, they have. You're absolutely correct. She has been working on this movie, she says, for 2 years. Well, that means Netflix didn't want it, and you actually had to wait till you'd left your exclusive deal before you're trying to sell it at Sundance. And that's absolutely right. Meghan was acting as if this were the Oscars. You know, she was sweeping in to win these awards. No. You're desperately trying to sell this project because no one wants it. There was an interesting moment based, I want to show you this on the red carpet, where you can just see how furious Meghan was with the interviewer because he dared bring up her daughter, Lily, and she immediately turned and passed it on to the director of the movie. But again, I find that really odd. It's like, you're the one that's putting your child on your Instagram account all the time. Why on earth can this person not ask a question about whether you want her to join the Girl Guide?